Welcome back to the Après Business Podcast, the show dedicated to the passion and persistence that builds legendary outdoor brands. Join your host, Rebecca Babicz, founder of Fall Line Digital, as we dive deeper than ever into conversations with the founders, marketers, and innovators shaping the outdoors. Let's jump into today's episode.
Hello and welcome to the Après Business Podcast. I'm so excited to have Tara Clark on today from TaraShakti. Tara, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm super excited to be here.
So briefly tell our audience who you are and what you do.
So I'm Tara Clark. I'm based in Seattle and I'm the founder of TaraShakti. We are a women-owned outerwear brand that focus on high performance and high fashion, where they meet together. That it's really built with a feminine fit in mind. Men can wear it, but we're thinking about women first.
I love this. Okay, so it's these amazing ski onesies, as you can see in your background if you're watching on YouTube. You actually didn't grow up as a skier.
No, I didn't have the opportunity to ski. I'm from Salem, Oregon. My parents didn't have the opportunity to go to college. I was an athlete through college. That's how I paid my way through school. I was the first gen collegiate, I guess, graduate.
Wait, what sport? What sport?
So in college, I played softball. Not my favorite sport, but I'm height challenged. I'm almost 5'5", so volleyball and basketball are my favorite sports. But softball is where I got money and went and did that. And it was a long time ago, before like University of Washington even had a softball program. I'm old. But anyway, it paid my way. And I did ski a couple times in Idaho. For some reason, my parents went there, and then we went to Soldier Mountain, and I skied a couple of times, and there was like 2 chairlifts. Like I was 10 years old, and it was just about going fast down the mountain. And Bruce Willis ended up actually buying Soldier Mountain, and it's a little bit of a thing. Ultimately, I married into skiing. I was in the Peace Corps. I lived in Southern Africa in a country called Lesotho. At 7,500 feet, most people don't know there's mountains, there's snow. My name is actually Meimalechwa, which means the mother of snow. And there is now skiing in Lesotho. There wasn't back when I was there. But I met my partner. Now I'm divorced after a quarter century, but I married into a big ski family. And so I was athletic. I could pick it up. But I was with a family that was really really great skiers. You know, my brother and sister-in-law met Vail Ski Patrol. They had been on the patrol for 4 years. My ex was a ski bum in Jackson. So they skied and I tried. And I would always go, but I had a love-hate with skiing because they didn't really ski with me. It wasn't their fault, but I wasn't going to the back bowls. I was yard sailing in the back bowls if I went, and I would do it, but it was never that fun because, I never took lessons. And so, yeah, I never actually took lessons at all. So that was really my entry to skiing was marrying into a family. They're from Seattle. Access to the mountains here is a lot closer. So access really matters to the mountains. And it's also having money to pay for all of it. And it continues to be that way. So something that's very important to me with TaraShakti is it is accessible to everyone, but it's very hard to understand how to access it if you've never had any type of exposure to it. So inviting people along, sharing gear, sharing knowledge, sharing everything we have so more people can access it. And once you understand the mountain and find your own love of it, you then will want to invest and play in it as well. But we have to open those doors to people who haven't had them opened. And it shouldn't come through marrying a guy. I mean,
no,
anyway.
It's so true. I like quick note on that. I mean, I learned like I have littles now, so we go skiing with my littles, and I would say like every magic carpet that you can go on in Utah is basically free. And there's also some lower lifts that are free. But like I didn't know that. Like I felt like I got this insider knowledge, and I'm talking to all my other girlfriends. I'm like, did you know that like the magic carpets are free? Like I always thought you had to kind of pay for them. And I think some you might have to, but like they don't make it super visible on the site, like so Yeah, I love that. Just sharing that knowledge of how to get people into skiing.
I think that's really interesting, and we can amplify that for mountains. Mountains are trying to, share, market to everyone, but it's very hard to reach the people who don't know what's available. And if you're not paying attention because it's never been in your world, it's like finding those people. Where do they match up? So I didn't even think about that because my kids are now older. I've done all of that, and we were going to the mountain all the time with them. But me having maybe shared that in my community, people who are like, there's always that I don't ski or I've never skied, and when you meet that, the people are always like, I don't and I won't because I don't know how.
Mhm.
But if people did know it was free, maybe they would take their kid up on a weekend just because what else are you doing? You want to get out of the
Mhm.
city or
Mhm.
wherever you're at. So, yeah, I think it's really important to have awareness that when you have knowledge and resource and privilege, really sharing it openly. Don't assume people know what you know.
Mhm.
Assume the
Mhm.
opposite and share it.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so didn't grow up a skier, married into a ski family, floundering on the back bowls, didn't love skiing, didn't feel really confident. You own a ski brand now. So tell me about kind of that middle
Right.
story where suddenly this became fun. I think you went on like some girls' trips, some of the conversations we've had. And yeah, t tell me about how you went from not that really into it to now owning this amazing ski brand.
Yeah, it was really because of women, actually because of women who were moms and working moms that I've discovered the love of skiing. By career, I was a photographer, but before I became a photographer, I put my ex through medical school residencies, an ER doctor, being a photographer. But prior to that, I was in corporate America for a few years. And I was in my 20s and I worked with these amazing women. We were all in the same, doing the same things, and we had boyfriends, and all those women married the same guys, and we all ended up having babies and went our own ways. And a few of people were skiers. But I think then being a photographer, that lends into more of my story of how I could launch a brand with that creative background. But with the women, it really started with a 40th birthday. This woman was turning, 40th birthday in Whistler. I'm in Seattle. It's a 5-hour drive. And so it's like going to be a week. And I'm like, I'm all in. That's awesome. Half the women didn't ski. There was like, I think 12, and 6 of us skied and had really the most fun. And like, it was awesome. The women who didn't ski, like we'd come home and they'd have spread, or we go out and they'd just hold the table. We meet them in Après and they'd hold the table. So I loved the people who didn't ski. It was awesome. And then the next year we wanted to do it again, and that it got to be a smaller group, and there was 6 of us. And then the next year there's 5 of us. And we went every year. And I remember telling my husband, I'm like, I just want to do that more often, but I don't know how. I don't know how to like how do you find women who ski? I'm in Seattle. It's not like it's a topic. It's not like you're in Salt Lake, where really the access to the mountains is really right there. I mean, it's pretty close here. We're 40 minutes away from the mountains, but it's just not top of mind. And I didn't know how to do that. And really, as a mom and a working parent, I think my husband was like, yeah, great. He wasn't going to go look for that either. Everyone was so busy. So the one time a year was enough. Um, and, and so ultimately it happened where one of my friends, I don't know, it was on the 3rd or 4th season, she collapsed with a primary brain tumor. And there's some story that because of a friend of mine that also had brain cancer, um, Holly, she reached out to her. They were both moms at the same school, and Holly was given a diagnosis of 1 to 5 years. But because of Stacy pointing her to the right doctor, um, Holly Holly was still with us after the first season. The next year, we were supposed to go again, and we thought we'd never get back to the mountains with Holly ever. Truly, I didn't even think we'd get to the local mountain, but we did. She was with us the first, so we went back to Whistler, and then the next season, she was still with us, and that was a big deal. And she's like, "Everyone show up in a one piece," and I was like, "What?" All these women like to shop, and I don't like to shop, like, and I was like, "Okay, what?" And then And then when I went on, I looked on eBay and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is fun. And then I got a ski suit. It was too big for me. So I got two. One of the women wore mine, the first one. And so we skied all together at Whistler and had the most fun. And then I discovered I had I collected a couple more. I made a disco ball ski helmet. Boys who were little at the time skied in my onesies. They were pink and like, what do you call it? Like shoulder pads, all this crazy stuff. And my boys would always get called a girl because they're in their disco ball helmet too. And they didn't care. We were having the most fun on the mountain. Not because we were trying to look like we were having fun. Really, the one piece has opened up this, like, it didn't matter how we skied. It didn't matter it just didn't matter. It took away kind of the intimidation factor for new skiers. And it was literally about enjoying where we're at together, which I think is what people who are really good at skiing that grew up with it, that's just inherent when you go out. It's just fun from jump. From the time you get on the first chair to the end, you're just having so much fun. But as an adult learner, or even as kids, a lot of it is the in-between moments. It is not going down that slope that you're like, I don't know that I really want to be like, I can't make those turns like you can make those turns around those moguls or the deep powder. Like, this isn't going to be that fun. And I hope I make it to the bottom of the chairlift and can ride back up with you in time, or I can rest somewhere. The onesies made it fun, and you just forgot about like the in between moments was like, can I get down the mountain? And
Mhm.
then because of that, I got better, we got better. And it's just the progression of skiing that is natural, that happens with people who've been skiing a long time. You have to do it a long time to get better and better. So that's where the love of onesies came from. I never would have started a company because I did not know how to do that. I have no apparel background. But I have been kind of an entrepreneur through my photography. And then I've done some other social impact projects, one that went national or international, kind of, don't need to talk about, and then one that's local during COVID, that I started that kind of right when I was starting TaraShakti. And I just believe in trying. It's the same thing as getting on the chairlift. Like, you don't have to know what's next. You just have to
Mhm.
show up,
Mhm.
get on the chair, talk to the person next to you, learn from them. Like, I learn a lot by doing and connecting with people. That's really how I suck up information and then just try on my own. And I am having the most fun. Um, we can talk about then how do I segue from not knowing how to do it to then deciding to do it. But I'll stop talking for a minute and
No,
let
I
you.
love it. I love it. And I guess like yeah, like it's I still want to close the gap on this story because like there's a lot like you must have had something where you knew that there was like a lot of white space in this market, right? Like you had these onesies, you bought them off eBay. I assume I have one that I got in a thrift store and I refuse to let go of it. But it smells, it stinks. It's like,
Mm,
I wear it at like the Gaper days. Like I haven't actually worn it in a couple of years because it's like totally worn off as far as weatherproofness and like maybe I'll bust it out this year. But yeah, like how did you go from like that fun ski trip to then like really like I think it was very intuitive of you because I felt the same. Immediately when I saw your product, I was like product market fit nailed. Like,
mm.
and kind of seeing that white space where it was like, okay, this needs to come back and there's gonna be people that want this. And I want you to help me close the gap on that story because it went from idea to having the most fun on the mountain to then like you could have just stopped there. It could have just been like your family thing to like, okay, no, actually this is a really good business idea and I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna get on that chairlift. I'm gonna take that first step.
Well, I think, a lot of people are like, would say to me, oh, this is so on trend. This is, you're hitting it with that. And I think I have been skiing in one pieces for 15 years because I enjoy them. That's all I ski in. And so it wasn't as though like I'm going to test the market for a few years and see. Like, I basically have been testing the market for 15 years, and I would get people coming up to me all the time wanting to know where I got it. But it was on eBay, and I had a very keen way of identifying what was good and quality suits. I I ended up collecting, I have like over 75 in my basement. Um, I didn't do it because I wanted a collection. How it started growing was I wanted to get a few friends on the mountain and do the ski video parody to Macklemore's Downtown called Downhill. And it ended up kind of, I told one friend on the sideline of my kid's soccer game and then told someone else. And in 3 months, we pulled together. Like, I'm like, well, maybe I'll get all my friends. And so I had 30 women that showed up on a mountain, and it gave me an opportunity to collect more one pieces. And we did a ski video parody. I'll share it with you. It's on YouTube. It's called Downhill. And that then I got like women just had, we had a collective of women having so much fun. And it was, we raised money for brain cancer research. I will close the loop on my friend Holly. She did live for 9 years because of the research being done here in Seattle. She was given 1 to 5. She almost 2x that. Brain cancer research needs a lot more awareness. There's so much that will be unlocked through brain cancer research, and my friend got so much more time than initially expected. Brain cancer get usually it's 1 to 2 years. That being said, that's how I got all it was just kind of, I have been testing the market through all the things I've worn, but the
Okay,
product,
so the amazing video photo shoot,
oh,
you raise money for brain cancer
yes.
research.
Yes.
Cool.
It was called Inspired for Life, and we had the bomb, what do we call it? The mom shells. We were mom shells on the mountain. We had, I mean, it was so fun. It's really a parody to Macklemore's Downtown, and he actually grew up in the neighborhood where I live. I know his mom wanted to be in the video, the opening segment of the video, but she was in Hawaii. So we actually Dan Wilson, who at the time was not he was now the GM, he was the Mariners coach. So they almost went to the World Series. Dan is in the opening scene of Downhill. Um, yeah, and it would have ended there. Like, I really didn't know how to do apparel. How I ended up pursuing it, the door opened through another kind of extensive story. But my friends are Lakpa and Rita Sherpa. I'm sorry, Lakpa Rita and Furba Sherpa, and they have been longtime friends of mine here in Seattle, and I'm a part of the Sherpa community. And Lakpa was on the hang tags. He's the ambassador for Sherpa Adventure Gear, which was founded here in Seattle. It's an awesome company. And I would always go to the sample sales and get gear, all the gear and gifts for Christmas because I love the colors, I love the quality. It was really great. I always would describe it like a Patagonia, but it was a small brand. And I was just lucky that it was here. The company eventually got sold, and I went into a store opened up a couple years later, and there's Lakpa all over the walls. Like, everyone needs to know Lakpa. He has summited Everest 17 times. His brother, who trained underneath him, is now the world record holder for the most Everest summits. Between the two of them, they've summited Everest 48 times.
Wow.
They're incredible humans, more so than their achievements. I'm lucky to call him my friend. But because he was the ambassador, he was all over these walls. And I was talking to the clerk at the store, and I had said, "Oh, I'm so bummed this, company's no longer here. It's so fun to see this shop opening up." And then he shared that the founder was still in the area and that his daughter was still working for Sherpa, even though the company had been sold to a California company. So I went on LinkedIn and I looked up who he was, and I basically cold called into it's Congree sourcing, and it's just south of Seattle, and they do sourcing and manufacturing, private label, which Tashi Sherpa had been doing prior to founding his own company. So I made an appointment and I took some of my old suits and I sat around and I'm like, can we do this?
Wow.
Yeah. And he said, we do outerwear very well. I've never done one pieces, but let's check into this. And so we prototyped, and it's a really, really complicated pattern. And I kind of just sat on it for a handful of months. I don't have deep pockets. I was like, I can't go forward with this. I'm sure I'm gonna have to get a lot of units. Um, But I actually went to pick up the prototype February of 2020, and I was not going to do it. I was like, I just can't. I don't know. I have any background in this. I have no business doing this. And then I sat with him and he really is like, I think we can do something. And I believe that you have something and I want to do it with you. And he said to his staff, he said, we're going to do something different. We're going to get the materials and not do it, have to sew up as much. And he wanted to sew in Vietnam or China at the time. And I, just my own moral ethics said, can we do it in Nepal? Nepal has a lot of corruption and things going on too, but that's where Sherpa had been manufactured. And he didn't think it could be because it's really complicated. And I said, I really want to, I call it honoring my origins, but I want to contribute to the Sherpa, something along the Sherpa bandwidth. I don't know how to say that. To honor my origins and give back to the community. So if we could do that in Nepal, I would let you know. And he said, oh, we'll try to figure out how to do that. And so he said, I'm taking a risk. He's like, I believe in what you're doing. Now you have to go build a brand. And I'll never forget leaving that day because I was like, someone believes in me. He believes in me. Tashi believes in me. And then I'm like, but I have no idea how to build a brand. And I had no idea. And it's hard. But that's how it started. And we then put in a small order. We were going to do a short run in February of 2020, and then the world shut down in March of 2020. And so I was supposed to get my first delivery of those first suits for the season, in October. But the world was shut down. So I got my first delivery on my doorstep of 70 suits a week before the mountains all shut down in Seattle in April of 2021. I had pre-sold half of them during COVID, and then I was hoping to sell the other half, during the season. It was not how I figured I would start a company. But some of that, it was really challenging. But the lengthening of the time actually allowed for me to learn more. And so I founded my company in July of 2021. I decided I was going to move forward with it. And I believe, I'm still a very early startup, I would say, with a great brand, the product. I spent 3 years really developing the product. That's where I put all my energy, my resources, my time. And this year it's like, okay, I need more people to know about it. It's hitting. Gold medalists are wearing it. Peekaboo Street is going to be wearing it. I'm actually shipping out 3 suits today and boots to Peekaboo. And
Oh.
she is commentating for NBC all season long. And yeah, and she's a fan. I was just with the Masuga sisters this weekend, and they're our first brand ambassadors. And so what I'm really proud of, and that 3 years of taking time on the product and not investing in marketing, was I wanted to make sure it was high performance, that it wasn't just about being a cute suit on the mountain. Like I don't do cute, like I do function first. This is an investment. I don't invest in clothes unless I believe it is something I want to wear. And so I achieved that last year by getting a lot of validation from the ski industry, and women feel great in it. And you can be a non-skier all the way to the best in the world. And I'm super excited about what's ahead. And I'll stop there again.
No, that's great. No, and that's like it's a perfect segue because I was like, you didn't have a product background. You're a photographer. It's like a totally different skill set. And so like, yeah, it was like 3 years to develop this product. And that's what I've always been so impressed with the suit is like how it's so thought out. And like I would love, I mean, I could talk about it like it zips off, right? So like a lot of onesies are hard to get in and out of, which makes bathroom breaks hard, right? And then it zips off into like a bomber jacket, so it can wear it out in the city. It's super cute, super flattering. It's like really warm and technical, right? Like I know you spent a lot of time figuring out how to get that breathable material because you don't want to be cold out on the slopes. And so it's like, I mean, that's what I like. So I would love to spend some time there just talking about the product and all that went into it in those 3 years to make sure that it was like, and like you said, everybody's been like, the sew is hard. It's a complicated fit. Like, not, bodies are all different. Men can wear it, women can wear it. And so yeah, tell me more about that process, basically going from a photographer to now having to develop this product, getting prototypes back and forth, and then like knowing, even though you didn't grow up being a skier, but over the years becoming a skier, identifying like those things that were like non-negotiables for the product.
Well, for sure, I like my whole life has been about intuition and following my nose and having a keen sense of what can work and will work. And I think visually, since I'm a photographer, like there's a lot of things that don't work, and that's fine. There's a lot of things on the market that are working enough. Everything's enough. And most of it has been made by men, for men, unisex, and we women have to wear it. So where what I love wanting to talk, or you wanting to talk about this, because the hero product is our suit, and it is deceptively like it's hard for people to wrap their mind around what it is. They literally think it is for fashion because it is so thin. People think they will freeze because it's thin. We're used to seeing like marshmallow people. You have to have a base layer, a mid layer, a shell, and maybe even a puffy if it gets really cold. And so you literally look like, I don't know, an abominable snowman if you fall into the snow and come back up. So when people first see it, they assume that it's freezing, it's only for the lounge, it's only for après. But it is because of the materials and all the layers. So the company is very layered in story, and there's literally only 3 layers in the hero product. And they are simple, but the best in the world. And that is because of Tashi Sherpa. And when I will have to say, when I started working with him, and then people learned that I was doing this, I randomly ran into someone who worked for Lands' End. She had literally just moved to Seattle to work for Tommy Bahama. We have some interesting, we had Eddie Bauer, we have REI, we have a lot of apparel manufacturing that started here and went overseas. The vintage suits that I have were started here and made here. It's pretty crazy. But these women, they had like decades of experience, and they said, "Who are you working with?" Wait, Tashi Sherpa? I've never heard of him. We'll connect you with someone. I'm like, well, no, I'm going to work with him. And as soon as I got the first swatches for the shell, which it's milled, I didn't know. I showed them the swatches, and I still didn't know. I liked the feel of it, and I showed them the swatch, and I remember looking and watching them. They like flipped through it. They're like, oh, and then they turned it over. I didn't even know what they were looking at. I'm like, what are they looking at? And then they're like, oh, he knows what he's doing. And I'm like, oh, what is he doing? In the back, it was milled in Japan. They knew the manufacturer. And so it is because of Tashi and me trusting, not listening to people wanting me to do it like it's been done before, or using people who have been in the industry that's known. I'm super proud of going against the grain, or not being afraid to not go against the grain. You can do it a lot of different ways, but because of Tashi, the layers we have milled in Japan, the outer shell that has a 4-way mechanical stretch that is waterproof, windproof, 20K. And then the insulate is really key as well. It's high tech or modern tech, I guess, that regulates with the body temp. And it has stretch, but it comes back. A lot of times insulation can get stretched and then it stays there and then it bundles up and bulks up and it's not a good look. No one wants that. But this insulate comes back it retains its original shape. So it really allows for both those 2 layers, allow for a lot of movement. And then the liner has inherently is stretchy and soft. And so what I go back to saying is so deceptive because it's complicated, because the suit looks like a 1 piece, it's a 2 piece. I mean, I'm going to actually, just since we're on YouTube, I'm just going to show like you literally unzip it. And so it's easy to go to the bathroom. So there's also, people don't want to wear 1 piece because of the bathroom situation, like getting undressed and letting your arms hang on the floor is not a good look for anyone. Um, and but it's the easiest to unzip. You literally unzip the waist and you go to the bathroom like a pair of pants and then you zip it back up. And it's like faster than having two pieces on and unbuttoning yourself. And then all of a sudden you have a jacket, like you were saying, and you have a way to access going to the bathroom. Like you don't come out sweating balls. Like I feel like whether if you're in two pieces, you're still having to take off your layers to go to the bathroom. And this literally, you wear one layer underneath and you unzip it like a pair of pants. You are in and out of the bathroom in literally like 3 to 5 minutes and ready to go back on the mountain. Um, and yeah, so the fit too, that was Tashi. I wanted an athletic fit. And so this is how much I didn't know. And they were like, okay, you got your first suits and it was April. Now put it on, or maybe it was the samples. We got the samples during COVID when no one could even be in each other's houses. And they're like, no, get it and put it on a fit model. I didn't even know what a fit model was. Didn't know for 2 years. Now I know, and I work with technical designers that are amazing. But had I even got a fit model, I wouldn't even been able to do anything with that because I wouldn't know. I'd be like, oh, that looks good.
So explain what a fit model is, because I'm like, is it just a model who's fit, or is it a model who has the typical standard specs of a small, medium, large? Is that
Right.
what
So a fit
um,
model is the medium size, and we do an athletic medium. So our fit model, I believe she's 5'7", and fit models tend to stay in the same build. Like you hopefully work with the same one, and they're not models like on runways or on print ad, even though they're all beautiful and they should all be on print models. We all the models, all the women on my website are all just real women, actually. So, except for the e-commerce, because we had to hire for that, or I had to hire in one day. But um, going back to the fit model, so you have them put on the sample, and then the technical designer, we all look at the things that if it does it work, are things fitting right, and you make small adjustments to the pattern, so then it can be adjusted during the prototyping time or the sampling time before it goes to production. So I was my fit model for the first 2 years, like literally the first one in the prototyping. I was like, well, I don't know that I'm going to make more than this run, and I'm spending the money. It should better fit me. Like, this might be the most expensive suit ever, and I'm not a fit model. I should never be. I mean, this is 4 or 5 years ago. I'm 54. My body definitely is changing. I'm still a medium, I'm proud to say, but I'm not like what I was 4 years ago. But I'm 5'4". And so the first ones were based off of my body shape. I'm athletic and all of that, but yeah. So I was the fit model. And then the pattern is then graded. You have that fit model, the pattern is made for a medium, and then pattern maker will grade it to large, extra large, and then down to extra small. My goal since the beginning has been to do plus sizing. We still don't. It's one of the things that every season I'm like, it's this season, but it's to do it well and right. We will create a whole different pattern, and I have to have the brand be known and sustainable. Like we're still, having the people discover us and having revenue come through that we'll be able to ensure that we'll have a different fit model for that, probably two, because there's different body types. And then we will hopefully go into extended sizing. But that's the fit model. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. You've thought through every single little aspect of the onesie and the design. Um, and yeah, everything from like how does it zip off so bathroom breaks are easier to using really technical thin material so I don't look like a marshmallow out on the hill. And then the colors and the colorways and some of the stuff you're doing is very 70s vintage inspired, but it's like not uh gimmicky. Right? Like you can wear it and it's like you're like, oh, like it's like my onesie, for example, it's like, hey lady, Frank or the end of the season party isn't for like 4 months, right? Like
Right.
whereas like
Right.
TaraShakti outfit, it's like it's very elevated and it looks really good throughout the whole year. So people aren't like, doesn't that person know it's not the end of the year party yet or something like
Right.
that. And so, closing the loop on that one is just like, yeah, how did you have that fashion sense? They're so cool. Like,
Well, to be honest, with the fashion sense, I think I've always had a keen eye for, I guess, just what works for me. Like I definitely don't keep a pulse on fashion. I think where mine came from, the eye for this brand, is that I'm pulling from true vintage suits. Like I have my collection. I know the ones that I love. So the original suits and styles, those were designed from an amalgamation of some of my favorites. And so the colors, they're all truly from the 70s and 80s. It's been done. It's not like I'm recreating the wheel there. And then it's taking inspiration from just, I think, my own intuition. Like actually I had a designer who, she's really great. You get these like, here's trending. And 2 years ago, I went to Europe it's like outdoor retailer, but it's called ISPO. It's the international one. It's massive. I went 3 years ago and then 2 years ago, and everything looked the same. I could have told you that plums, mustards, forest green, that's coming. Everyone had it. And I'm like, oh, if we were here, we would be so dissonant to this. And that's okay. So everyone's follows brands because once you start seeing it, you want it, right? So starts following. I'd say everyone follows trends, and it's not because they're following it, but when you're seeing it so much, it becomes like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Now I'm going to buy that. We're kind of the opposite, where people are like, ooh. So going to that, when I used to wear my suits, I wore them all the time, and that could have been like, oh, this is just the party weekend. But I just owned it. I'm like, this is so much fun because I'm having fun. I connected with people. I don't care what people think. I would always say, like, either they're laughing at me or they're laughing with me, but I'm having the most fun on the mountain. And now that, the trend is caught up where vintage is all the thing, everyone wants it. So that's where the color comes from, it's from the past. I am just pulling it forward and bringing modern materials to it. And then just also modern women. Like the suits in the past were not made for modern women. There's a lot of the ones in my basement I've never worn. They're teeny tiny. And so it is really celebrating the body, and your body is enough and perfect as it is. So I am really proud of the fit that we have. It goes to size 16 to 18. I wish it went further. We will get there as we grow as a brand. But people think, oh, I need to be it's not a body for me. It's for that person. Everyone's a little intimidated. It's kind of like trying on a swimsuit, even though you're fully clothed. Like, it's like, oh, this isn't going to fit me. And then I get to watch women put it on. They're like, oh, and they're like, it fits me. And it truly does. I think that it looks better on women with curves than straight body. And I'm super proud of our fit because you can be tiny, and even you can be like 4'10" up to 6'1". And it seems impossible, but that's the fit that I've worked with Congreve Sourcing. They're so incredible, this Sherpa-owned company. And I cannot speak highly enough. If anyone is looking to start a company, check out Congreve Sourcing. They're Seattle-based and really incredible family. Really incredible family company. Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future episodes. See you in the next episode of the Après Business Podcast.